25.
25. And your height?
5 feet.
5 feet. How cute is she?
So short.
Now we're gonna figure out how many grams of protein, carbs, and fat she needs. 105 carb and 52 fat. And that'll take you to your goal of 118. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna walk through a one-on-one consultation with Alva, calculating her macronutrients, explaining what they are and how we go about them. So let's get started. All right, everybody. So for those of you who don't know, macros are what make up the caloric content of food. So when you have a specific goal, it's a little bit more than just counting your calories. When you calculate your macros, you're calculating your protein, carbohydrates, and fat. So we're gonna walk you guys through that process. So the first thing we're gonna need is your BMR. Your BMR is your basal metabolic rate. So that's the first thing we're gonna need to know when it comes to calculating Alva's macros. So in order to get her BMR, we're gonna need to know her weight, her age, and her height. So why don't we start with how much do you currently weigh?
122.
122, okay. And your age?
25.
25. And your height?
5 feet.
5 feet. How cute is she?
So short.
Okay, so now the thing is, what you can do, you take this data and you enter it into an online calculator for BMR. So what I'm gonna do to save you guys the time from doing the math, I'm going to plug it into an online BMR calculator and I'm gonna come up with this number. All right, so when I did the online calculator for her BMR, I'm coming up with 1221 calories per day. So 1221 calories. So if Alva just wanted to sustain her current body mass, she would need 1221 calories just to sustain it. And just keep in mind, you guys, of this BMR value, approximately 20 to 25% of this is just the amount of calories needed for her brain to function, which is kind of crazy. So if she was doing nothing, laying in a bed all day long, that's how many calories she would need. Now, the next thing is we need to figure out what her goal is. So what would you say is your current goal? Are you trying to maintain your weight? Do you want to lose some weight? Change your body composition?
Lose a little bit of weight. I kind of had a lot of fun this summer, and I started off at around 118 pounds. That was like where I was like my happy place. And then, well, I enjoyed myself during the summer, so I gained
Awesome.
2 pounds.
So would you say you want to get down to 118, 120?
118.
All right, so her goal is to get to 118. So in order for that to happen, we need to apply a caloric deficit. We're going to take her BMR and we're going to multiply that by her activity factor. Okay, so, and that is going to tell us her TDEE. Her TDEE is her total daily energy expenditure. The first thing we need to know, we know her BMR, we just calculated it, is 1221. Now we need to determine her activity factor. So I have a video where I explain some ratios and some values of something that you can come up with for this. But the question I have for you is approximately how many times a week do you work out?
Right now, 4 to 6 days.
4 to 6 times, and about how long are those sessions?
An hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Yeah.
Now, outside of your workouts, are you on your feet or are you sedentary?
No, I'm not really on my feet. Like just working from home on a laptop.
Okay, so given the fact she's working out 4 to 6 times a week, which is really, really good, give you credit for that. So I'm gonna give her an activity factor of approximately 1.5 under those conditions. So to determine her total daily energy expenditure, 1221 times 1.5. Okay, so that puts her TDEE at 1831.5 calories. Now Alva expressed she wants to lose weight. So we're gonna apply a caloric deficit. So if she wanted to lose 1 pound of body fat per week, she would need to drop 500 calories per day. The reason we get that is because 1 pound of body fat is 3,500 calories, 7 days in a week. So 3,500 divided by 7 is 500. She would need is 1331.5 calories per day. So before we proceed any further, the first question I have for you is, do you think this is an amount of calories that you feel comfortable that you could eat every day?
Yeah.
Okay.
I probably would want to eat more, but
yes.
like if I was to really buckle down and be committed, I would definitely do it. I did do it, but I usually would probably have a day or two where I would just eat a little bit more, like 1,600, 1,500.
Yeah, so the thing is that's really great about Alva, as you guys have been following on our channel, she has a lot of experience with this, so she knows in her mind about how much food this is. But the thing is, if for you, when you're doing your calculations, if you look at this number and you're like, dang, that's not a lot of food, you may want to go about it at a slightly slower rate. So from there, I'm going to take this value and we're going to calculate her macros. So this is how many calories she needs. Now we're going to figure out how many grams of protein, carbs, and fat she needs. So the first thing we will always want to do is we always want to determine the protein first. And we'll determine the protein based off of her goal and kind of where she wants to go. So do you want to be adding lean muscle mass during this point, or do you want to keep the same, or do you even want to drop your muscle mass?
No, I would want to continue adding.
Okay, so she wants to increase her lean muscle mass. And by any chance, you have any idea what your body fat percentage is?
Last time I checked, I want to say it was like 24.
24? Okay. So that's important. She knows that her body fat percentage is 24. So she's currently 122 pounds and she's at about 24% body fat. Okay, so her lean body mass is 92.72 pounds. All right, how cute is that, number one? 92.72 pounds. So what we want to do is we would want to use approximately 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. Now, the thing is, if we do that, she'll do really well, but she wants to gain muscle. So what we're going to use is we're going to use 1.2 grams of protein per pound of lean body mass. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you don't know what your body fat percentage is, you can just use a ballpark estimate of 1 gram of protein per pound body mass. But since we have that extra data, we're going to use that to our advantage. So she's at 92.72. And we're gonna multiply that by 1.2. So her protein is only at 111.26. So I don't know, let's just say approximately 111 grams. She doesn't need to be on super high protein, especially for her frame. So you could tell she's very petite from these numbers. And sometimes people do overdo it a little bit on protein. So we dialed this into her. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna calculate her fat intake. If you haven't seen, I have a video on body types. Alva is a little bit more of an endomorph body type, and they tend to do a little bit better with a little bit more fat. So I use approximately 0.35% or 35% fat under that off of this. So 1331, 465 divided by 9. So I'm coming up with 52 grams of fat, and the way I got that is I took 0.35 times 1331.5, and just so you guys can see how I got it, 0.35 times 1331.5, that gave me 466. That's 466 calories. I take that, I divided it by 9. Divided by 9. We're dividing it by 9 because there are 9 calories per gram of fat. 9 calories per gram of fat. So from there, I came up with 51.78. I rounded it up to 52. So we have her protein, 111 grams. We have her fat, 52 grams. So now all we need to do is calculate her carbs. So 111 times 4, which is 4 calories per gram of protein. So what we do is there are 444 calories in protein. We have 52 times 9. We're doing this times 9 again because there are 9 calories per gram of fat. That's 468 calories. So now we have the 331.5. We just have to subtract that from this value and this value. So 1331.5 minus 444 minus 468, 419. So 419.5 calories are from carbs. We take that, divide it by 4. We're dividing it by 4 because there's 4 calories per gram of carb, divided by 4. So she gets to have 104.8. I'm just going to round up to 105. 111 grams of protein, 105 carb, and 52 fat. And that'll take you to your goal of 118 in about 4 weeks. Yeah, so that's how she would do it. Do you want to explain how you would set it up with your macro tracking app?
Yeah, so if it's like I feel like if something is too intimidating, because I've known numbers could be a lot.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there's people in the world like Christine who are so amazing at it. But there's a lot of apps too where if you could at least figure out your total daily
Yes, right here.
total daily
Energy expenditure.
I'm so bad with it. And then you could get your calorie count, and you could do the deficit part. A lot of apps like Lifestyle, MyFitnessPal, there's literally so many options. I don't work with any of them, so really you could go ahead and like go try and find the one that will work best for you. I'm a fan of my Lifestyle actually because it kind of tells me what I have left for the day. If you punch in these numbers, it'll kind of give you like 30% fat, 45%, and you could tweak it like that, and it just makes it easier. But if you want to be like completely correct, you should definitely do the math behind it.
Essentially what she does is she gives herself a goal for each parameter for the day, enters what she eats all day, and once she does that, the app tells her where she is versus her goals for the day. So she, it makes her able to be conscious and the opportunity to be flexible with her food choices. She doesn't have to eat chicken and rice and sweet potatoes all day. If you're traveling, you just track it.
Yeah, it's so easy once you're in the habit of tracking the food.
Yes.
It just becomes so easy. You just have to watch out because if you have a really greasy slice of pizza, you're gonna cut out
it adds
later.
Up fast.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to cut out later more fatty foods. You're gonna have to just have protein and carbs because you already took up all of your fats. So the apps kind of give you an idea of that, but you need to always also make sure that your numbers are pretty correct.
She's already very healthy. She already doesn't even really need to lose weight, but if she wants to, something's gonna have to change. And the key here is if it cannot be measured, it cannot be improved. So that's why if none of you guys have ever eaten this way or taken the time to measure that out, it'll probably be a wake-up call for a lot of people. I'm not sure, like when you first started, it might have been like, dang, that's got a lot of carbs, or dang. It's a learning curve.
It's still like a wake-up call. I'm still like, 105 grams of carbs. Because once you start actually looking at food differently, you see how, maybe a cookie that you didn't think was a big deal is like 60 grams of carbs.
Yes.
And that's like half of the carbs
day.
already for your day. So you have to be careful once, you start looking at the numbers. It opens up your eyes to how much calories could be in something this small.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And I think Alva's a great example. I'm sure you guys have all seen her progress photos of her journey. Now, granted, she has a little bit to go now, but like for those of you who have a longer term journey, I would say don't stress out. Take it slow, take it one day at a time. And if you ever need support on how to go about this, play back this video and watch the logic so that way you can try it for yourself.
Yeah, people, like real quick, let me add, people think that like a lot of like me or people that have success with macros, we just see this one time and we figure it out and that's it. Mm-hmm. I had to rewatch your videos like 2-3 times to really, okay, I did this number correct. Let me go back. It takes time. You can't just expect to right off the bat get it. It's not, right off the bat, it's not easy. I'll definitely tell you that.
Yeah, definitely. So I hope you guys enjoy this video.
Yeah,
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on my channel. It's so exciting, and thank you for watching. If you guys liked it, if you found it helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll definitely list Christine gaugegirl Training's channel down below along with her Instagram and all that. All right, thank you guys.
All right, take care.
Bye.
See ya.